apologize for giving my trade recap of today laying down. But man, this is just how I've been feeling lately, bro. Life been tough. So I want to show y'all the first trade that I took, right? Clear as day is pretty good, right? We zoom out, clearly trending up. We're pretty high. But in this situation, I can't enter the setup right here because it's high and in the zone. So I don't enter. But my rule is like if the zone breaks and it comes back down to my entry, or even like super duper close to it, we're gonna get in. So this case, still couldn't enter. It's like taking off. It goes near the entry, but the zone is still here. You know what I mean? So it's not like it still applies that we can't get in. Now the zone's broken, but at this point, I'm just thinking that the trade is going to win. I'm just like, all right, it's gonna take off. Let's just keep on looking for other things. And then the trade actually ended up hitting my entry point. So I got in around here. And after that, it just kept on melting. So I couldn't really do nothing about that. And I don't regret it. You know what I'm saying? This is the reality of trading. Anything can happen. So the trade lost, and then it started going up and stuff like that. But who cares? It wasn't a valid re-entry here, anyways. So that's where platinum actually came in. We had another chance to take a trade, and I'm gonna just give a spoiler alert since y'all could see that it won, right? It won, and this trade was low key like a similar situation, but it just wasn't like the entry just wasn't in the zone. So this was solid to begin with, right? I was looking at plat and I am feeling like a tad bit nervous just because, Trade's been winning lately and I don't want to lose two in a row, but I don't care. It doesn't matter what I want to do. Like, probability is going to work out however it wants to, whenever it wants to. So, as you can see, my entry is not in the zone yet. So, I'm able to take this entry. And I want to show you guys why I would do the same thing that I did last trade over again. So let's just say this was the candle that ended up being the first break, like above the 13, right? I wouldn't be able to enter it. But this candle right here broke the zone. This was the zone right here with this candle. Boom, it broke above it. So in this case, now we can enter. And in this case, it went back to my entry and I would get in, right? But anything can happen. So in this case, it ended up going back up a bit. And then even right here, it went back to the entry again, going back up a bit. It just didn't happen with NAS. And then next thing you know, it like goes crazy. So you never know, bro. This is why you just take your plan. You just take your plan. So this trade was good. It was only a 1-to-1 that I took because it was past 11. And when it's past 11, we just go for the 1-to-1 because it's past our trading hour. And we got to just make sure, like, at that point, man, I just want to take the 1-to-1. Just take what you can get when, if your trade goes past 11 o'clock. So this one actually ended up booming a little bit more. But I just caught the 1-to-1. So today was like a tiny loss day / like you could just call it a break-even day, I guess. Just a small loss. We had a small loss today, but it's better than a full loss. So it was probably like 2/10 of the actual loss. So I mean, we're able to get back with this trade, and we're 1-1 for the week. 2 trades that went with our plan. So we will keep on moving forward on to the next. All right, y'all. So today we traded oil, and at first I was feeling a little iffy. I was only feeling a little iffy because like we just started like going up again, but at this point I was like, bro, we can't be asking for too much. We already broke this. We broke this major point. We broke this major point. You know what I'm saying? We just had this big gap to the upside. We broke this over here. So there was a setup over here that we couldn't even enter because we had news at 8:30. So right here, boom, 8:15. The entry would have been at 8:20. That setup would have lost. We don't trade during the news, and then the EMAs weren't aligning anymore. And bro, I got really tired, man. So I literally fell asleep for a second. But see, you still see me yawning, bro. I have to sleep at better times. I was in and out of sleep, and then the EMA started to align again. So at this point, it is 10:10, and it touched the 50 now. And I'm looking just to make sure there's, a zone or something, just in case we could take a setup. And there was right here. There is a 1 hour zone. We get rid of that. If we zoom in, you can see that it just like barely closed above that. So that's a 1 hour zone. It's not the best zone in the world, but it's a 1 hour zone for sure. So from here, we're just waiting for a break of candle, or we're waiting for it to close above the 50. I mean the 13. Goodness. So this was one where I'm like, all right, we would be able to enter it. We didn't get it. We didn't get the break of candle entry. I'm sorry y'all for like being like lousy right now. But as you can see, this was the candle that we were able to enter on. And we go for the same thing, 1 to 1.5. I was like, let's get it, bro. I mean, we just broke structure again. At first, I thought this trade was going to be a head and shoulders. You got the shoulder right here. You got the head right here. Another shoulder right here. Then it started going down, but then it went back up. So it was like a false head and shoulders that happened here. And then after this, I'm in the trade. And it gives like a really good spike. And it won. It won in like 6 minutes, which was really nice. So that was today. We're 2-1 for the week, and we're not trading on Wednesday since we traded Monday and Tuesday. Definitely just need to get my sleep right because I be sleeping pretty late, and I gotta get better with that. But overall, this was a good trade. Went with the plan. No matter the result, like we stuck with it, man. No matter what the result is, we gotta stick with it. So this month is actually pretty good so far. Way better start to this month than April. April had a better ending. But yeah, let's just see, man. We're about to be halfway into May, and we've been doing great with our account. So, not great with the account. Let's just say we've been doing great with following our plan. That's all that matters, bro. We can't really control the outcome, so we just have to take our plan. But I will see y'all on Thursday if I take a trade. All right, bro. Don't mind the hair, all right? Let's just, forget it. So yesterday was Friday, and that was the last trading day of the week. And so far, we're 2-1 this week, just chilling. It's a solid week, just taking our plan. So basically, day before, let me zoom out a little bit. Day before, everything was like going down, right? We have a big sell-off into this session. So my thought now is like, okay, yes, we just had a big sell-off, but at the same time, when you zoom out, it's still not a complete downtrend. It's not like we've just been downtrending. So I'm waiting for that break of structure during session. The EMAs aren't even aligning on anything anyways. And I set my targets, or I set my alerts for like when I would like consider a pair if it was to break. So with platinum, let's see, the EMAs were aligning. We broke this, but I was waiting for it to break this right here, and which it did. I stayed very patient today. And then either way, like there was nothing that could happen during our session before this happened. 6E, we're also waiting. But we're not waiting for a break of structure. We're just waiting for the EMAs to align. And they ended up aligning a little later on, right? See, they're aligning now. And then you have a 1 hour zone right here. So we're just waiting for it to hit the 50. But I just want to show you guys this setup right here on gold. It was actually a 15-minute zone right here, right? And I was like low key considering taking this, but I had set this level already. But I was just like, man, I should probably take it. Like, it's low key a good setup. And I didn't. I did not take it. And I just decided to stay with my normal sentiment and not change too much because that is a big no. So if I ended up doing that, we would have lost. Oh, but we have the re-entry, so we actually do have a chance, right? It's not like I did not take this trade, by the way, y'all. Boom, would have lost again. You know, it was close. You know what I'm saying? But after that re-entry, bro, I'm done for the day, man. I'm done. So good thing I didn't take it, even though I was considering it. I was like, let me stop myself. Let me stop myself. And then later in the day, silver was actually able to give a setup, which was completely valid. There was no setups on silver before this. You have a 3 candle, 1, 2, 3 candles closing above, and then boom, right here, this candle closes below the 13. So we're in, but we're only going for a 1-to-1 because silver stop loss is insane. It's always like a bigger amount, and we can't trade micro silver on Tradeify, which sucks. But this trade literally was like close to hitting that 1-to-1, and then it just skyrocketed back up, right? But after that, I mean, the session was already over. This setup was taken at 10:45 on a Friday, and that's usually something that, well, I don't know if I've ever taken a setup that late on a Friday, right? But that's honestly something to consider. I wonder if these Friday setups that I've taken late, or just late setups that I've taken on a Friday, like, I don't know, maybe we should close shop earlier. But this is following our plan. You know, this is the plan we have right now. It broke structure, looked good. Like, literally, I followed my plan, so I'm chilling. And this setup actually ended up like going down and stuff, but it didn't matter. You know, this was a higher risk, so we actually lost way more on this trade than, not way more, but we lost more on this trade than we would have on a regular setup. But that's gonna happen every now and then. As long as the risk is not too high, I'm willing to take these setups. So I was cool with the result. Still, part of me is like, dang, it kind of sucks. You know that, you know, the one trade that is like a bit higher risk ends up losing. And like, if I just risk more on the other trades that just won, I would have won a lot, right? But you don't want to think like that anyways, because anything can happen. So I am in harmony with that, and I accept that. So at the end of the day, I'm just working on my mindset of like, all right, this trade loss, we're 2-2 for this week. We're 3-0 last week. Who knows what the next week can do for us, and who knows what the week after. Like, who knows, man? You know, at the end of the month, we just want to end up being in a solid position, end of the year, solid position, end of the quarter. So this one trade isn't the end of the world. It lost, but it went with the plan, and I stayed patient today. So I'm actually very, very happy with that. And this whole week, we stayed with our plan. So, like, I can't really complain, bro. I can't complain about it. And yeah, we're 2-2 for the week. It was an unprofitable week because of this trade, but we're gonna be fine in the long term. So I'm gonna catch y'all. Man. I just can't wait. Like, I don't want this to sound bad, but with this strategy, like, it's kind of inevitable to have like a nice win streak. You know, I've had a few of them happen in the past, and I just haven't been executing properly. But that's why I'm just focusing on executing properly and making sure I can actually reap the benefits of a win streak, of like a 5-6 trade win streak. Like, that would literally be like crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all next week, man. We are staying consistent with these videos. So if you are ever watching this and I'm already up and I have my Mercedes AMG GC63 S, don't be surprised, bro, because you see every single week, right? I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, and then eventually, like right now, these couple of weeks, you know, last couple of weeks, we're staying consistent. But usually This is just a little session of like yap, right? I tend to not follow my plan anymore. Like when it comes to like the second half of the month, that kind of happened in April. Like April was a rough start to the month, right? But we were following our plan, and we ended up getting back around break even, a little bit above that, and then we were just missing trades and having some having some terrible execution, bro. Like literally three straight trades of not following my plan. But I learned my lesson. We're reviewing mistakes, and we're just making sure that we just show up and just don't overcomplicate things, bro. Literally, just do my morning routine, get to these charts, and take the trades, man, and live with the results. Because, like, what? Come on, man. This is a great strategy. Like, when it actually when we actually are in harmony with it and we let it work out, it's gonna be all good. So, um, yeah, I'm just trying to show people, man, that you can be profitable, you can be consistent. Um, I definitely am on that journey, so I want everybody to know like it's possible, man. Let's go, let's go, let's keep going.